Very good morning to all. This is Dr. Manjunath Chennapagod from Anveshana Academy. In the last class, we discussed about syllabus content of first unit and also we discussed about what is science. Dear students, can you repeat what is science? Science is a systematic study of everything which is happening around us. That is known to be science. So in this class today, we are going to discuss about what is scientific method. Okay, so before understanding what is scientific method, I will try to explain you the nature of science. So dear students, science is not only collecting the facts which are happening around us, but it is a dynamic process that involves questioning, hypothesizing, testing, refining our understanding of various phenomena. The science is not only collecting the data, but it is what? It is a dynamic process which involves questioning, hypothesizing, testing and refining our understanding of various phenomena which are happening in our day-to-day life. Okay, and the scientific method act as backbone of the researchers. Okay, so what is this nature of science? You can see here now. I repeat, nature of science is a dynamic process which involves questioning, hypothesizing, testing and refining the understanding of phenomena which are happening in our day-to-day life. Okay, when it comes to this scientific method, it is having some steps, namely observation, experimentation, verification and analysis. These are the important steps which we are having in our scientific method. Then why this scientific method is required in our day-to-day life? Okay, so here you can see role of scientific method in understanding the phenomena which are happening around us. So it will helps, scientific method will help enhancing the knowledge of the phenomena. It will explain the phenomena in detail and it will give the data outcomes of the phenomena in right direction, and it will leads us to do some innovations which are happening in our day-to-day life. Okay, so now as I told, it is having some important steps, namely systematic observation, okay, logical reasoning or repeated experimentation, model creation, experiment and result validation, I mean verification or rejection theory. At the last we are going to do production. These are some steps we are having in scientific method. What are the steps on scientific method? I will explain in detail with this diagram. Okay, dear students, you can see here now. What is scientific method? It consists of observation, reasoning, model making or model creation, and theoretical prediction of the phenomena which is happening in nature. Okay, so that is nothing but scientific method, or else in simple terms we can call scientific method is a procedure followed in acquiring the knowledge in science is called scientific method. Scientific method having 6 important steps here now, or we can call procedures. So scientific method, it is having 6 important steps here now. First one, observations. You can take any phenomena which are happening in our day-to-day life. What we will do? We will do observation first. So what type of observations we will do? Qualitative observations we are going to do. Quantitative observations we are going to do. In the second step, what we will do? Based upon that observations, we are going to make a hypothesis, or we are going to form a hypothesis, or you can say we are going to do formulation of a problem. Okay, so third step, what we are going to do, based upon that hypothesis or problem formulation, we are going to create a model. On that model we are going to do some experimentation repeatedly. When it comes to experimentation, there will be 2 kinds of experimentation we are going to do. One is controlled experiments, another one is variable experimentation. This is third step. When it comes to fourth step, once the experimentation is done, we are going to get some result. That result we are going to collect. So that is nothing but data collection and analysis. So there is a data collection and analysis we can do it in two ways: systematic data collection and statistical analysis. This is a fourth step what we are using in our scientific method. The fifth step is, once the data collection and analysis is done, we are going to verify that data or results with the references. Okay, and we are going to do it repeat. Okay, that data we are going to replicate it. So that means in verification and replication step, we are going to reproduce the results and we are going to do reliability for confirmation. Once it's done, that once the verification and replication is done, we are moving towards the last step, that is theory development. Okay, we are going to check the consistency of the results what we got. Okay, and it should follow some scientific theory. So these all things we are going to do in this scientific method. Fine. These are the important steps which are used in the scientific method. Okay, to understand these all steps and methods, I will take some examples and I will try to explain you. Okay, so to understand the scientific method, it is having some 6 important steps, right? So to understand the scientific method and its step, what I will do, I will take some examples. So dear students, you can see here now, you can take a pen. Okay, you can take a pen. Live example in the science, while explaining the definition of science, I have taken this pen. Now also what I will do, I will take a pen as an applications here now. So what is scientific method? First, what we will do, we will observe. Okay, so what we will do, we will observe. What type of observations we are going to do? You can take, the students, you can take a pen. Then how the pen is made of and what are the materials they are used to make this pen. When it comes to a pen, it is having a spring actually, dear students. One component, one element, I will take it here now, spring. Then I will take a pen spring. Now I will take a best example, pen. In that pen, I will take a spring. Okay, so what observations we are going to do in that pen spring? You can see now how the spring is designed. What is the shape of that spring? How much force is required to press the spring? That we are going to observe. And what materials they used to make that spring. Then how many turns, you can call it as n, how many turns are there in that spring, and what is the total length of that spring. These all observations we are going to do. And also, as I told, when we are going to compress it, right, it will compress. When we are going to release the load or a pressure, it is going to expand. Hence, when it is spring, right, there will be both compression and expansion process we can get. When you compress, right, it is going to store some amount of energy. What type of energy it is? Then how much amount of energy is stored? These are all observations we are going to do in a pen spring. Once observations is done, what we will do, we will create a pen spring. Okay, that means pen spring by making some hypothesis formulation. So what we will do, by based upon this observation, we are going to formulate a problem or hypothesis. So once the hypothesis or problem is identified or problem is formulated, then what we will do, we will create a model, and we are going to do some experimentation on that model. This is what third step. First step, observed. Then second step, we made a problem formulation. In third step, we created the model and we are going to do some experimentation on that model. Okay, so experimentation on model. Okay, fine. Once the experimentation is done, we are going to get the result. Okay, that result we are going to collect. That step we can call it as a data collection. Okay, so data collection. Once the data or results is collected, right, that results we are going to do analysis. Once the analysis is done, that will take it into the verification step. So next step is verification. In the verification, we are going to verify the data, whatever we got it, right, that we are going to verify with the references. Once the everything is correct and perfect, what we are going to do, we are going to create a theory. We are going to develop a theory. That step we can call it as a theory development. Once the theory development is done, then that procedures or that design, we can call it the spring or everything, it will go for the mass production. Okay, so here now, so what we done, you observed the spring, okay, and then you created a model. After that model, you done some experimentation. After the experimentation, you got result. Then you analyze that result and you verify that result with the references. Once it is everything is done, what we will do, we will take that spring for the bulk manufacturing or bulk production. So what we are doing, we are following systematic methods to manufacture this spring. Okay, that is nothing but scientific method. This is one example. Similarly, we can take a second example, suspension. Dear students, you can see in your vehicles, car you can see, or you can see it in your bike, you are having a suspension, or you can call it as a shock absorber. What we will do, first we will observe the shock absorber. After that, what you will do, you will, why it is happening, you will observe and you will questioning yourself, what is the material used in the shock absorber, what it is going to do, why it is compressing, why it is expanding, how many number of turns are there, okay, what is material used for the spring, like observations you are going to do. After that, what you are going to do, you are going to create a problem, or you are going to formulate a problem or hypothesis. Once it is done, what you will do, you will create a model. Once the model is done, you are going to do some experimentation, that is reasoning or theory. Once the experimentation is done, you are going to get some result. That step we can call it the data collection. Once the data collection is done, what we are doing, we are going to do verification. And after the verification, if the results everything is fine or perfect, then what you will do, you are going to develop a theory. Once the theory is developed, then what you will do, you will send that theory to mass production of that shock absorber. This is a second example for understanding scientific. Fine. Now dear students, you can see now, as I told, you can take a simple pen, what we are writing. First observation, what you will do, you will observe the pen, why it is plunger is required, what is the material they are used to make this pen. You are using ink cartridge, right? What is that ink cartridge, how the ink is produced, what are the properties of that ink. Okay, in that pen we are using a spring. There will be two spring. You can see some pens they are having two spring. One is black spring, another one is back spring, another one is back spring, another one is front spring. So why it is spring is used, what materials they have used, what is the compression and what is the expansion, what type of energy is it going to store, these all things we are going to observe. Similarly, when it comes to pen, right, pen hole size is there, right? So what is the hole size, on what basis they have designed the hole sizes. With the help of that hole size, what all we can going to determine, whether we're going to flow rate. If it is a flow rate, yes, with the help of 5 by 4 into d square. Okay, with the help of this area we can calculate the mass flow rate of the ink. What are the properties of that ink? Okay, what are the properties of that ink, that also we're going to observe. Okay, so when you are writing, right, what is the thickness of that writing, when you are using a spring, right, when that spring is required some load, how much load or pressure it is required, like that many observations we are going to do in our day-to-day life. Okay, after that observations we are going to formulate a problem. Once the problem is formulated, then we are going to create a model. On that model we are going to do some experimentation. Once the experimentation is done, we are going to get the result. That result will be analyzed and verified. Once the results are analyzed and verified, then we are going to develop a theory. Once the theory is developed, then what we will do, we will take that whole procedure, scientific method or procedure for a mass production of pen. So this is one examples we can consider to understand what actually the scientific method. Okay, fine. Now I will take one more example, manufacturing of mobile. You can take, dear students, okay, you can take manufacturing of mobiles. Okay, fine. Now it is having, as I told, there are some important 6 steps in scientific method. First one, what we will do, you will observe the mobiles. Okay, how they have made it, what all the materials they are used to make that mobile, what is battery, what type of battery they are using. Okay, what are the chemical compositions are there in that battery. These are all things we are going to observe it first. Okay, you are going to observe. You can take any electronic gadget, you can take a watch, smartwatch, you can take mobile, you can take, or any electronic items you can gadget you can consider, but here I am considering mobile. Once observation is done, what we will do, we are going to create a problem, or we are going to formulate a problem, or we are going to we are going to formulate a hypothesis. Once it is done, we are going to create a model. We will create a small mobile, okay, as a model, okay, as a model, okay. Then we will do some experimentation on this model. We will going to do some experimentation on the model, okay. So we will do experimentation on the model. That too, repeatedly we are doing experimentation, because we will not believe experimentation on only one time, because we can't predict the result of the particular product in a only one experimentation. Series of experimentation we are going to do, that too by keeping some variables. So by keeping some variables, we will keep some variables and we will do experimentation repeatedly. Once the experimentation is done, we are going to get some results, okay. That results where we will take it, that results collecting is nothing but what, data collection. Once the data is collected, what we are doing, we are going to do it thorough analysis. We will do the data analysis thoroughly with the help of some statistical methods. Once everything result is correct or perfect, then what we will do, we are going to verify that results with the references, okay, and we will make confirm, oh yes, our results are correct. Then what will it, if it is done, we will going to make a development of a theory. Once the development of the once we made the theory development, then we will go for the mass production of the mass production of the mobile. So this means what we done here now, scientific method, what it explain, actually you can take anything around us. I have taken here mobile. So what it is doing, it is following some systematic steps or a procedure. So those are observation, hypothesis, experimentation, data analysis, verification, and theory development, at the last mass production, or we can call production. This is what the scientific method, it is following some systematic steps to develop the any applications we can see in our day-to-day life. That is nothing but what, scientific method. Okay, dear student, like this we are having n number of application in our day-to-day life. Some are shown here that you can see here now. Some you can take any applications. There is a science behind that, any applications. You can take a lamp, you can take a solar unit, you can take a lightning, you can take a cooker, you can take an engine, and mango falling. You can take any. Why it is mango is falling down? You can see. You can take any applications or any happenings which are happening in our day-to-day life. There is a science behind it. Okay, fine. Now, so here you can see some applications, some examples I am showing you here. Just you can have a look. The tree leaves are falling here because of vibration. In engineering, that too in mechanical engineering, one separate subject is there, vibration. So when the leaves are getting fall down, right, because of what, vibration, you can say. You can take heat cooking. We are using heat for cooking application. We are doing floor cleaning, right? When we are doing floor cleaning, there is a requirement of energy is there, power is there, and work is there. These all are nothing but what, systematic studying the things which are happening in our day-to-day life by some systematic steps or procedure. That is nothing but what, scientific method. Okay, you can take car engine development. So engine is also one of the application of what, science we can say. Okay, it is all there, also follow systematic methods. You can take a washing machine and you can take a solar light. Thank you.